Hi, I'm Sean from dishonorablespeechandpolitics.com, and I want to talk about personal responsibility and why I believe it's so important. Two of my 37 categories of dishonorable speech are blaming and promoting entitlement and victimhood. These are all against personal responsibility and contribute to massive value destruction in the world, in my opinion. To understand how, first let's define personal responsibility. Merriam-Webster.com defines responsibility as the state of being responsible, and responsible as, among other definitions, liable to be called to account as the primary cause, motive, or agent, and as able to answer for one's conduct and obligations, trustworthy, and also as able to choose for oneself between right and wrong. I believe then to accept your personal responsibility means to recognize that you're a causing agent in the world, to acknowledge the effects you have both within yourself and in the world, to accept the consequences of your actions, and, when you have damaging effects, to try to make things right. Personal responsibility means you don't expect anyone to save you from your own effects, and you don't blame others for your problems or emotions. One reason I believe personal responsibility is so important is that I don't think you can build your self-esteem without some level of it. According to Merriam-Webster.com, self-esteem is a confidence and satisfaction in oneself, self-respect. If you don't recognize the effects you have in the world as coming from you, how do you have confidence in yourself? And what do you base satisfaction in yourself on? You may delude yourself that only the good effects you have are because of you, and the bad effects are someone else's fault, but this won't lead to true self-esteem because it's a false confidence in yourself. At some point, the world will let you know that it isn't true by making it nearly undeniably clear that you don't always have good effects. I say nearly undeniably because it's kind of amazing how good humans can be at making up stories for themselves to deny reality. When we deny our personal responsibility, we are basically lying to ourselves and others because we're denying the reality of our effects. I don't believe you can truly build your self-esteem without being honest with yourself. Also, denying your personal responsibility often involves a form of stealing, such as lessening the reputation of the person or people you're blaming so your reputation may seem to not be lessened as much. This is like stealing some of their reputation for the sake of your own. Denying personal responsibility can result in a form of stealing as well if one side is made to pay more for their actions than is in line with their share of the responsibility for a situation. If you have a conscience, then it doesn't feel good when you steal, and this also tends to lower your self-esteem, I believe. The way I see it, when you embrace your personal responsibility and make things right after you've caused damage, you gain true confidence in yourself to push through discomfort and do the right thing, and this truly increases your self-esteem. Some of the advantages I see of personal responsibility include, number one, what I just mentioned. It's the only way I believe you can raise your self-esteem, by taking responsibility for your successes and failures, and especially for your emotions. Number two, you can be joyful in any situation when you take responsibility for your emotions. Number three, it feels better for your conscience to know you're not stealing or coercing. Number four, it positively affects those around you by setting a good example and exposing them to positive rather than negative comments and outlooks on life. Number five, it provides a path towards a less violent world. The more people who practice personal responsibility, I believe the less likely are dishonorable speech, stealing, and violence. Some of the apparent disadvantages of accepting your personal responsibility could include, number one, it can feel uncomfortable. There's no off the hook for your actions or lack of actions. Number two, you may not get what you want in the moment. Number three, it can feel unfair if others don't seem to be accepting their personal responsibilities. Number four, it can seem like a lonely road. And number five, you don't get to negatively bond with people. I believe we currently live in a culture lacking strong personal responsibility, and there are a number of things that contribute to this. I'm not saying these things don't have other positives about them. I'm solely looking at their likely effects on personal responsibility. These include, number one, bailouts or protecting people from the consequences of their decisions and actions. These can include corporate bailouts, disaster aid for people who didn't prepare for foreseeable disaster, social safety nets, Chapter 11 or filing for bankruptcy, crowdfunding campaigns to pay for health expenses of people without health insurance, and not letting people, such as children, fail. Number two, not giving people the opportunity to be responsible for things they could fail at. Number three, not holding people accountable. This can include people getting away with bad things such as crimes and people getting away with treating someone poorly. Number four, rewarding bad behavior, such as if a child throws a tantrum and you let them have their way. Number five, blaming and making excuses, saying it was someone or something else's fault. Number six, not looking at broader responsibility for a situation instead of placing fault on one or two people. Number seven, promoting victimhood and victim mentality, such as complaining or saying, "Oh, you poor thing," or "There's nothing you could have done, it's all their fault." Number 8, denying responsibility for one's emotions, such as saying, "I'm offended," or "your words hurt me," or "anyone would have been angry in your situation." Number 9, promoting entitlement. This can include giving people things they haven't earned, including taxing the rich and spending it on the poor, saying things like healthcare is a right, or that the rich need to pay their fair share, and spoiling your child by giving them everything they want without having to earn it. Number 10, forcing or coercing people to do things that are quote-unquote in their best interest. This includes health mandates such as masks and vaccine mandates. Number 11, never talking about why personal responsibility matters. Number 12, punishment that doesn't focus on helping the perpetrator heal their lack of personal responsibility and/or doesn't give them opportunity to make reparations themselves. Number 13, stealing, such as movies, music, etc., that you may get away with in terms of not having negative external consequences, although there are still negative internal ones. Number 14, committing acts of violence. Number 15, not cleaning up after yourself. Number 16, not keeping your word and commitments. Number 17, speaking dishonorably. Number 18, voting and campaigning for candidates who promote entitlement and victim mentality. Number 19, always trying to be comfortable, valuing your comfort above most other things. Number 20, never admitting your mistakes or not acknowledging your own contributions to your successes. Number 21, not taking responsibility for a situation you caused, such as abandoning your child or a pet you adopted. Number 22, going along with the crowd just to go along with the crowd, or not going along with the crowd just to be defiant. Again, I'm not saying that things on this list don't do other good in the world, just that they tend to contribute to decreased personal responsibility with consequences such as people having lower self-esteem and there being more stealing and violence, or at least threat of violence, in the world. Some things that could help build personal responsibility include, number 1, preferentially patronizing companies that promote responsibility over entitlement and haven't taken government bailouts. Number 2, giving children things to be responsible for, such as cleaning up after themselves. Number 3, holding people accountable. Number 4, not rewarding bad behavior, being kind but firm. Number 5, stopping your blaming and making excuses and complaining. Number 6, discussing broader responsibility in a way that doesn't victim shame and looking for your own responsibility in everything. Number 7, promoting a can-do mentality, such as saying, "What do you think you can do to change your situation?" Number 8, accepting that you're responsible for your emotions, and when you react in anger, you're choosing it. It's not what the other person's doing that's causing you to be angry. Also accepting that you don't cause others' emotions. Number 9, promoting earning rather than entitlement, and having and practicing having gratitude. Number 10, giving people the opportunity to experience the bad effects of their decisions so they'll choose differently in the future rather than forcing them into doing what you think's best for them. Number 11, educating people about the damages of not taking personal responsibility themselves and of encouraging others to not take it. Number 12, giving people the opportunity to make things right themselves rather than just imposing punishment on them. Number 13, committing to not stealing. Number 14, committing to nonviolence. Number 15, cleaning up after yourself. Number 16, voting and campaigning for candidates who promote responsibility over entitlement. Number 17, taking on challenges, making goals, learning new skills, and acknowledging the effort that went into achieving them. This helps to build your character by going against your comfort. Number 18, admitting your mistakes and taking credit for your successes. Number 19, keeping your word and commitments. Number 20, speaking more honorably. Number 21, taking on responsibility for another living thing, such as owning a puppy, having a child, or even having house plants. Number 22, not going along with the crowd just to go along, but making your own assessment of the situation and acting in a way that you think is right. I believe personal responsibility is of great importance in the world, such as for people being able to build their self-esteem and minimizing dishonorable speech, stealing, and violence. With awareness of what kinds of things help encourage and discourage personal responsibility, my hope is that some may take these things into account in their decisions and lean more towards promoting personal responsibility with their actions. Thank you for watching.